Celtic Park, as you can see, is sold out. 60,000 are here for the first Celtic Rangers game in the Ladbrokes Premiership for fully 5 seasons. Big names and big games, and there is Rod Stewart up for the big one. And there they are. There will be fireworks. Stand well back. It's the big one, the biggest one in fact, and your commentators are Andy Walker, and first of all, it's good afternoon to Ian Crocker.
Thank you, David. 5 seasons in the waiting. A league match between Celtic and Rangers. High drama and high intensity are pretty much guaranteed. There are 60,000 fans inside Celtic Park, fueled by a passion, by an obsession. It is a rivalry unrivaled. The old firm are reunited. They're back, and every time it's personal. Leigh Griffiths misses out with a calf injury, so Moussa Dembele gets the call up front for Celtic. There are old firm initiations for Dembele, Doris de Vries, Colo Touré and Scott Sinclair. Sinclair and James Forrest have scored in all 3 league games so far to soften the blow of Griffiths' absence. Philippe Senderos makes his Rangers debut, and there's a first start for Joe Garner. There's also a first taste of this fixture for Joey Barton, Nico Cranchar and Josh Windass, who missed the last 6 games with a hamstring injury. Kenny Miller has scored 6 goals in his last 7 games against Celtic, his former club. Patrick Roberts is over his hamstring problem, he makes the Celtic bench. Martin Waghorn is over his hamstring problem, he makes the Rangers bench. First Old Firm game for a man who supported Celtic as a boy, Brendan Rodgers. He's experienced Merseyside and South Wales derbies. Not a bad warm-up, but it's time for the real deal, Brendan. Some things are just meant to be, like Celtic v Rangers. The derby of derbies is next. Scott Brown has been looking like his old self this season. It's his 22nd Old Firm game. It's Joey Barton's first, but it's his kind of match too. Kenny Miller loves a goal against Celtic, and he's on 99 Rangers goals. He couldn't, could he? He might. 22 players on an almighty collision course. There is huge potential for pandemonium. The most fiery fixture in football is back on the calendar. Willie Collum is about to blow his whistle. Here we go. The players are told to stay calm and be professional. Good luck, because in this fixture, self-control can soon turn to self-destruct, Andy.
Yeah, Kenny, and you're right. I was brought up in this fixture. I'm glad that it's back. I've missed it. I've missed the colour, the excitement, the passion, the noise, the tension. And above all else, I've missed the drama. And we're certain to get that today.
Celtic have made a strong start to the season. Rangers haven't hit any height yet. But nothing much counts on a day like this. Near beat on now. With the switch here to James Forrest up against Lee Wallace today. That could be interesting. Tom Rogic stretching for it. allowing the challenge from Kiernan. And now Rangers bursting away with Barton and Wallace and Garner. Glasgow's big two produced an epic Scottish Cup semi-final last season. It was classic old firm. More of the same is more than likely this time around. Kiernan, Granchard. Two surprises in this Rangers team.
But even look at that position that Lee Wallace was in. That's your left back. He's receiving the ball with his back to goal in the middle of the park. It's another indication of the bravery that Rangers had in the semi-final, trying to play very open football from the word go.
Rogic hustling and bustling, and so is Granchard. Torre trying to release James Forrest. Rob Kiernan across to deal with it. And the beach ball. Mikael Lustig will take this throw. Torre has played in a few big derbies in his time. Rogic. Forrest, who's sparkled so far this season. In towards Dembele. Hung in there until Kiernan just nicked it away. And Wallace completes the clearance. Two clubs just 5 miles apart, but so far apart in many other ways. Scott Brown. Torre now for Lustig. Rogic. Handled by Granchard, but Rogic strong enough to carry on. And finding Forrest. Kiernan screens it again. Nicely taken by Barry Mackay. One back by Lustig. Forrest is the beneficiary over Dembele and Sinclair. And Kenny Miller's back there. Tierney typically battling away. Colin could do with eyes in the back of his head. A religious affairs teacher during the week, will he? He couldn't make that up. Granchard back for Wallace. Beat on upon him. Wallace secures another throw off Rogic. Wallace playing his 300th game in the Scottish League. Kiernan. Doris de Vries made his debut against Aberdeen, preferred to Craig Gordon, played for Brendan Rodgers at Swansea. Signed from Nottingham Forest. Helped on by Lustig. Kiernan in front of Dembele. Torre aware of Garner's presence. Forrest. Beat on for Rogic. Josh Windass intervened. Windass just back from a hamstring injury. Tavernier. Barton seeking out Mackay, but it's stopped by Lustig. And Now Forrest. Rogic seeing plenty of the ball early on.
Rangers are paying enough attention to Rogic. He's picking up terrific positional play.
Sinclair found his route blocked. Beaton. Brown will find Lustig. Celtic are on the front foot. Kiernan clears once more.
I think what you're seeing with Rangers when Celtic have comfortable possession, Ian, is that Garner's the main man up front. Miller's dropping back with Windass and Cranshire. Barry Mackay on the left.
Brown. Dembele for Rogic. Barton in and about him, but it's come to James Forrest. Forrest looking to tease Wallace. He certainly did that. Tom Rogic! Blocked by Wallace. Rogic again! And wide it goes.
I think it was a combined block of Barton and Wallace. Rogic looks an important player for Celtic immediately. Just pulling the trigger there. The Rangers getting the block in.
Rangers turn now. Windass is tripped, and that's going to be an early yellow card for Near Beaton.
I don't think anyone can complain about a yellow there from the referee. I know it's early on, but that's pretty cynical. Rangers were on the break. They had the man advantage. Correct call from Willie Collin.
It's not an easy game in which to tread carefully. Near Beaton booked. Warburton rather enjoyed his first taste of the Old Firm, that Scottish Cup classic last season. How will he fare in this one? An opportunity here for the boys in blue. Cranshire and Barton exchanging passes. Windass. Heavy touch from Cranshire, and Rangers failing miserably to make the most of that free kick, but it still sprung towards Mackay. Cranshire away by Sviatchenko. Sinclair and Tavernier together.
What a contest that's going to be. Pace of Sinclair, revitalised since joining Celtic, up against the proven quality of Tavernier.
Kiernan for Mackay. Scott Brown pops up. They're doing a lot of that. Brilliantly won back by Barry Mackay, and a cheeky back heel too. Hello. Tavernier.
Great to see a young guy like that, Barry Mackay, being so confident in this environment.
Kiernan. Mackay onto Lee Wallace, and James Forrest to go to track back.
Yeah, Forrest did well because Wallace went very early. He trusted that Mackay would play it first time. Rangers, I think, quite happy. Set up for the corner here.
Mackay leaving it for Cranshire. Garner among those waiting to pounce. Senderos and Kiernan in there. And Windass. Nico Cranshire goes long, popped back by Kiernan, but onto the roof of the net.
Well, Scott Brown questioning why Kiernan had so much space. If you look at Kiernan's movement, he just drifts away to the back. No one goes with him. Celtic are going man for man. Just with a better header back into the danger area might have caused a problem or two.
Two managers know each other well. Brendan Rodgers worked with Mark Warburton for a while at Watford. Brendan was the manager, Mark was the sporting director. Dembele and Kiernan go up for that. Rogic. Just clipped by Cranshire. He looks well up for it, Tom Rogic.
Yeah, I think he's taken up really good positions. His teammates are looking to find him. I'm just a bit surprised that Rangers aren't paying more attention to where he's playing. Rogic, he can make things happen. He can have a pop at goal from distance, and he can link up with his strikers.
He scored in the Scottish Cup semi-final, but missed the decisive penalty. Sinclair to float it in. Senderos makes contact, and now Tavernier. Torre chasing him back. Windass.
So good from Tavernier there. He's carried the ball there about 50 yards. He's got his team out. Got a secure possession here.
Senderos made in a testimonial against Linfield last week, but this is a bit different. A game in which to make your competitive debut. And competitive is certainly the word.
Again, difficult ball into Mackay's feet. Lovely first touch, instant control.
Barton for Cranchar. Senderos. Tavernier. Barton in some space for now. Cranchar. Larry Mackay's going to get to this. And he finally Wallace. Free kick as Wallace takes out Sviatchenko.
I like to pass from Cranchar right into the path there of Mackay, who yet again, he knows to play it first time. He knows that Lee Wallace is constantly up in support. It's almost on the end of it there, but good defending in the end from Sviatchenko.
Well, he's been there all the way for Rangers through testing times, but now they are back where they belong. Sinclair against Senderos, away from Senderos, away from Tavernier, but not from Kenny Miller, but it will be a corner. It brushed off Tavernier.
Look where Kenny Miller is. He's almost playing as a right back there. Realised that Celtic were on the attack, and as you would expect from Kenny Miller and his work rate, happy to get back out and help his teammates.
What can Celtic make of this? Scott Sinclair's corner, Kenny Miller, the first man. Not a lot is what they're made of it. Tierney. We have Kenny Miller paying attention. Tavernier will use West Fodringham. Windass. Miller.
Brilliant use of the ball from Fodringham.
Barton. Senderos. Barton. Lost out. Brown. Some surge here from the Celtic captain. Senderos cut across him, and that allowed Tavernier to take up the reins. Cranchar could release Wallace here.
Passing it really well, Rangers.
Lustig out of position at the moment, so Torre has to come across. Mackay. Cranchar. He's going to have a go, Nico Cranchar.
Well, I think that's where Rangers are looking for Nico Cranchar to try and come alive. 30 yards from goal, he certainly got the ability to at least make the goalkeeper work. He loses control of the shot completely, but just in a general sense, I'm sure Mark Warburton is happy with the way his team have started the first 15 minutes.
Leigh Griffiths got it to be missing out today and in Barcelona in midweek. Calf injury. Trying to evade Forrest. Joey Barton's back pass Where's Fotheringham worried for a moment?
I thought it was overconfident. Joey Barton having a look at his goalkeeper now, saying, why weren't you ready? It's not often you see this type of play. Surrounded by 3 opponents, Barton knocks it back to his goalkeeper. A bit heavier, and that was in the back of the net.
The first cut is often the deepest when these two meet. Only twice in the last 74 league encounters has the team scoring first lost. It's wild from Kiernan. He had a look for a bubble. Lustig. Sviatchenko. Forrest. So many key battles in this game. Forrest against Wallace, one of them. Rogic. Still going. He always seems to be still going. Brown. Tierney. Sinclair. Beaton. Lustig. Forrest. Forrest able to deliver. Tavernier knew that Sinclair was behind him.
Yeah, Sinclair should have been more on top of it.
Tierney. Beaton. Lustig. Forrest. Brown. Tierney. Brown. Dembele. Now Forrest. Celtic probing. Forrest needs help. Lustig. Blocked by Crancher. Sviatchenko has Tierney available. Also Brown. Over the other side it goes for Forrest, but he's offside.
Well, it shouldn't be. It's really poor play. Rangers have overloaded onto the one side, and it's exactly the right type of pass from Scott Brown. Actually, so he's onside. He is onside. Poor decision from the assistant there.
Sinclair. Brown and Beaton. Lustig. Beaton. Tierney is the target. He's done well to keep that in, Tierney. Couldn't find Sinclair, did find Rogic.
Surprised he went for it first time, Rogic. I thought he would have had just the awareness to know that he could have taken a touch here. Exactly the right type of ball from Beaton. Tierney does ever so well. I think this is meant for Sinclair, but it ends up into the path of Rogic. He must know he could take a touch there and set himself for a better strike at goal.
He has scored a few lately. Garner goes up with Torre. Here's Barry Mackay.
Brilliant from Garner. Excellent layoff.
Beaton closed in on Mackay. Tierney. Moussa Dembele. Sinclair moves alongside. Rogic arrived too. Here's Brown. James Forrest. Tavernier in his way. Beat on. Brown. Lustig. Forrest. Comes off Wallace. Lustig. Offside again, James Forrest.
He didn't want it, James Forrest. I think the game has started well for Rangers, but Brendan Rodgers will be quite happy with it. When you look at the last 5 minutes, Rangers happy to sit deep, Celtic in controlled possession. Still trying to work the goalkeeper's hope.
Brendan Rodgers has taken Celtic back into the Champions League after a 2-year absence for the club. And what a way to start that campaign at the Nou Camp. Not that that has really been on their minds this week. There's been no time for it, with the old firm on the agenda. Lustig charged in ahead of Mackay. Barton quick to react as well.
Yeah, good experience from Lustig. He realised that Wallace only had the one ball out and he was onto it in a flash.
Lustig. Rogic. Foul. Rogic on Barton. He certainly felt it.
Yeah, Barton's claiming he got a sole on. I thought it was good use of the body here from Rogic. I don't know where maybe just ran into the elbow there of Rogic. Joey Barton just into the body, really. I'm sure it'll be okay.
Sympathy will be in short supply around most of this famous old ground.
Right now, I think he's a potential match winner for Celtic. Someone to unlock the key. I think he's picking up great positions. Barton just needs to be aware he's often so close to Tom Rogic.
Wallace taking his time. Windass comes to meet it. Wallace let that go out, actually. It's a Celtic throw.
Well, we're just getting a wee clash off the ball here with Lustig and Garner. Didn't seem to be much in it, but both players had just come together a few seconds earlier. Garner complaining. You can see Lustig here with Garner just backing into him. There's nothing in it at all. Earlier on there was just a slight confrontation between the two.
It's all part of the occasion. Dembele. Toure now for Sviatchenko. Kenny Miller racing towards Sviatchenko, but he survives.
I think a wee bit lucky, Sviatchenko. Not the most assured first touch.
Sinclair. Tierney moves ahead. Sinclair prefers to go inside to Scott Brown. Blocked by Cranchard. Back by Toure. Beats on for Tierney. decent record, and they've played decent teams as well. Hearts, St Johnstone and Aberdeen. Rangers have already been held to draws by Hamilton and Kilmarnock.
I think Celtic are just finding it difficult. Rogic is not in space, and the long diagonal is not on. Just finding it difficult to get the ball through the middle up into the last third.
Moussa Dembele starting with Leigh Griffiths injured. Rather surrounded there. Kranjčar intercepted by Lustig. Kranjčar will try again. Finds Kenny Miller this time. Rogic is tracking Barton, forcing him into that error. He's looking the main man, Tom Rogic, for Celtic at the moment, and he's got a free kick.
Really calm, just having a word with Kenny Miller, just about a foul. No need for any card. But you're right, Ian. I think Rogic could be the one to make the difference if Celtic get themselves in front.
Kieran Tierney gives Miller the run around. Away by Senderos. Lustig and Wallace together. Celtic eager to make this period of possession count. Brown. Sinclair. Tierney. Sviatchenko, who scored a cracking header against Rangers in the Scottish Cup semi-final last season. Beaton, Forrest, Rogic. Free kick again for Rogic. Kranjčar thinks otherwise. It's going to be a yellow card for a series of offences from Nico Kranjčar.
I'm not convinced about that. I think it was a foul. Barton and Kranjčar combined. Maybe they're beginning to think about the danger that Rogic has given their team.
Lustig. Beaton. Presence of Windass forces Brown back to De Vries.
Although Celtic are dominating the ball, Ian, with the most possession, haven't had any shots at goal at all. We're almost on the opening half hour, and I think it's an indication of how well Rangers' shape has caused them problems.
Dembele. Jerry Barton went for the ball. Kenny Miller now, just away from Windass. Battling with Brown. Beaton took charge. Sinclair. Tierney. Brilliantly for Sinclair. It was kept in by Rogic, so it will be a Celtic throw now.
What a ball from Tierney. To get that to the byline. Terrific stuff.
We've come to expect from Kieran Tierney, really. Lustig. Tavernier flicked it away, but Kieran Tierney's onto it. Tierney across. Tavernier away. Stayed in. Tierney tries again. Where's Fotheringham is having that.
Well, I know he's a very willing defender, Kenny Miller, but he's not a natural defender. And it's a body there. Kranjčar, I think, is a bit of a weak link at the moment for Rangers. He's either lazy or unwilling to work off the ball.
Well, he turned into trouble there, Nico Kranjčar. Beat on. Nothing doing.
Well, look at Tierney here and the way that he cuts back onto his right foot, and then a perfect weighted ball into the feet of Sinclair.
It's been a remarkable rise for Kieran Tierney. Yes, just last year he was in the Celtic side that beat Rangers in the Youth Cup final. He's now dislodged Emilio Izaguirre, very much first choice left back for Celtic. Brown and Barton together, and the crowd enjoyed that. Dembele for Rogic, held up briefly by Senderos. Tierney was going round the outside. Rogic looking for Sinclair, and Fotheringham able to block as Celtic keep the pressure on.
Rogic again, the weight of this pass is absolutely wonderful. I think he was a half a yard off the pace, didn't really expect it, Sinclair.
Sinclair's corner. Moussa Dembele makes the difference with a cracking header. Celtic strike first in the derby of derbies, and it had probably been coming.
Well, this is Rangers' Achilles heel. They cannot defend simple crosses. Go back to the Scottish Cup final and look at this. Look at the amount of bodies, Rangers bodies in the danger area. Kiernan is nowhere near. Garner's nowhere near. Barton's nowhere near. Dembele attacks it and he gets it in off the post. It is the most simple of goals for Celtic to score and horrible for Rangers to concede.
Who needs Leigh Griffiths when you've got Moussa Dembele? Brendan Rodgers' first signing from Fulham has left the Celtic fans jubilant.
Well, no wonder they had to get Senderos in. He wasn't anywhere near it either, but Rangers in the heart of defence are really soft.
Becoming a familiar story for Rangers, that. Dembele has fed Forrest now, and Rogic, and Fotheringham can't hold on. And now he can.
Can't have Joey Barton giving the ball away like that, allowing Celtic players to swarm all over his defence, and no one can get a firm grip of the ball, and eventually they clear the danger. But as always happens, the first goal, it rattles the opposition. What's the response going to be?
Garner. Rangers have lost on their last 4 visits here without scoring. They need to score now. They've offered little so far. That is a free kick though for a foul by Lustig on Windass. And what an opportunity here for Rangers to reply instantly.
Yeah, nice 1-2 here. Windass getting the return from Lee Wallace. Now, what can Rangers come up with here? Kranjčar has to come up with a type of ball that allows his teammates to go and attack it. Garner, I think, has been strong in the air so far.
10 minutes to half-time. Could this be a pivotal moment? Kranjčar whipped it in. Miller. Kranjčar blocked by Brown, but Kenny Miller will be first to it. Will take this throw. Wallace again, lovely pass from Mackay. Scott Brown wins it back from his opposing captain. Rogic. He's relishing every second of this, the Australian. He's been caught there.
Cranchall's got to be careful. He's already picked up a yellow card. It's another foul there. Rogic's feet are just too quick for him.
Well, the column just having words with the Celtic captain. Celtic supporters enjoying having the edge on Derby Day in Glasgow.
They've certainly been the better team.
I think so much of Rangers Day is all about defending and holding Celtic at bay. They did that for the opening half hour. That's why I'm surprised that Cranchall's in. His defensive duties, it's not the best part of his game. Rangers have not got enough of the ball from middle to front for him to make it any difference.
Dembele. Free kick has actually been given to Celtic against Moussa Dembele. Free kick to Rangers, rather. Here's Tavernier. That's a little loose. Dembele onto it. Forrest racing through the middle. Kiernan with a vital intervention. Rangers need to find their feet here. That might have been a free kick for Windass, but Rangers advance anyway. Okay. Cleared by Tierney. On, and once again it's Cranchall who's in and about.
I think he's a concern for Mark Warburton. He's the type of guy that looks as though, you heard Gordon Strachan earlier, when a team goes one down, you see people flying into tackles. Cranchall's lost his discipline a little.
Mark Warburton's Rangers have now conceded the first goal in 4 of their 5 league games this season, although they did avoid defeat in the previous 3.
I think that shot there tells you that none of the players can hear the manager's instructions. Barry Mackay's only 10 yards away from him, can't hear the manager shouting on him. No wonder.
Mackay, Rancher, Barton. Forrest. Windass having a nibble at Beaton. Kiernan away. Barton and Brown. And the collision course again. Dembele. It's hectic, it's frantic. Lustig looking for Sinclair here. And a bit too much to do.
Yeah, I like to run from Sinclair. He started outside, came inside on the diagonal. Certainly the right ball to play. I think Rangers struggle with a bit of pace over the top.
Kiernan. It's away from Tavernier.
He had a big target there, Kiernan. Acres of space, Tavernier. No wonder he's furious.
Torre. He said he couldn't wait to find out what this fixture was all about. He probably soon found out. 100 miles per hour. Rogic for Forrest. Celtic in a menacing mood here. Dembele in the middle with Sinclair. And it's scooped away by Tavernier.
Came from a lovely first touch from Rogic. Setting his teammate up there with just a simple pass. think this is a problem for Rangers, Ian. Look for Mackayas, look for Milleras. They're playing like fullbacks.
Some run this from Josh Windass. Stopped by Torre. Here's Cranshaw though. Kenny Miller can't feed Garner. And there's a little hope for Rangers then.
Well, if they can get Windass on the ball, there's a player who can carry 30-40 yards, very comfortable with the ball at his feet.
His old man scored against Celtic in his Aberdeen days. Beats on here for Dembele. First to it ahead of Senderos. It is Moussa Dembele! No Leigh Griffiths, no worries, no problems, because Moussa Dembele has stepped forward and Celtic have a firm grip on this Glasgow derby.
Well, you need to look at how deep Senderos is here. No wonder Celtic very easily exploit the pace in behind. Look at Senderos. Look where Kiernan is playing the ball, and Senderos is what, 10, 15 yards deeper? Dembele could have tried to square it, but he's so high on confidence after the first goal that he shows fabulous composure. Just to cut in on Senderos here, loses his footing, a desperate sort of lunge, can't stay on his feet. And that's a finish of the highest order. We've seen James Forrest with the outside of the right foot in recent weeks. Dembele more than a match for him. Wonderful goal, wonderful start to his old firm career here.
The double for Dembele, and he left his former Fulham teammate Philippe Senderos planted on the ground there too. He's had to be patient with Leigh Griffiths leading the line for Celtic. Well, he's certainly making the most of this opportunity. A star turn in the absence of Griffiths. Moussa's the man, and Celtic lead Rangers 2-0 with a couple of minutes remaining in this first half. Two goals in 9 minutes have wrecked Rangers here. They simply have to score the next game. Next goal of the game. Here's Windass. Cranshaw. Sinclair closing in. Kiernan had to steer that away from Sinclair.
I'd be tempted to get Cranshaw off, even now. Losing it too often.
Tavernier. Rangers couldn't half do with something here. Kenny Miller! And Garner helps it in! And Rangers have responded in the final minute of the half. Just what they needed. They've come alive.
Well, we spoke about Rangers being soft in central defence. Celtic are here too. Miller does ever so well. He's on the stretch. I don't think he's trying to score. He's just helping it back into the danger area, over the head of De Vries, and Garner's in the right spot there, just to make sure. Excellent response from Rangers.
I wonder if Kenny Miller might think that was his. Joe Garner made sure. Kenny Miller on 99 Rangers goals. Rangers respond just over a minute after Dembele's second.
That's a huge goal. You go into half-time here with the majority of the crowd celebrating. 2-1 makes it entirely different.
Well, if it was a bit of a slow burner, this Old Firm game, it isn't now. It is game on. But here's Rogic. Definitely Joe Garner's goal we hear. Kenny will have to wait for his 100th Rangers goal. Here's Rogic. He might get a shot away.
Well, Garner, what a lift for him. But this definitely shows that Miller on the stretch, getting it back in over De Vries. Garner in that danger area, making sure he gets the final touch, making sure it gets over the line. Turi and Sviatchenko nowhere near it.
Joe Garner's first Rangers goal on his first Rangers start. He's just ended an 11-game goal drought. It's a good day to end that. An explosive end to the first half here. Moussa Dembele with 2 goals put Celtic in control. Rangers had hardly had a serious look in, but just before the break, up popped Miller and up popped Garner, and that has changed the complexion somewhat on Derby Day in Glasgow, because at half-time it is Celtic 2, Rangers 1.
And here at Parkhead, Scotland's heavyweights are slugging it out, and as you can see, Rangers are making a substitution. Andy Halliday coming on, and you won't be surprised to hear it's Nico Cranchar who's run his race. Let's get straight to the second half then, in the company of Andy Walker and Ian Crocker.
Andy Halliday, a Rangers fan, was in their academy for a few years, comes on to play a part. Nico Cranchar taken off to the surprise of absolutely no one. Celtic cruised through most of that first half, and we're cruising at 2-0 up. A double for Dembele, but Joe Garner, just before the break, has changed the scenario here, and all of a sudden Rangers are believing a little.
Well, Halliday will need to get involved immediately. Surprised that he didn't start the game, performed so well in the semi-final.
Away from Brown and Forrest. Senderos. Tavernier for Senderos, making his Rangers debut. Kiernan now. Poor.
Kiernan's use of the ball, you're right, Ian, is very poor, putting his team in all sorts of trouble.
Here's Forrest. Joey Barton on hand for Rangers. And again, but it's away from Mackay. Not quite so comfortable as it was for Celtic, who bossed most of that first half. Torre. Brown. Quickly over towards Kieran Tierney. Scott Sinclair chasing this, and Tavernier has to see him off.
I think Tierney was looking for it there. You see here, he gets it, and then he just runs into Kenny Miller. And Willie Collum could have got that one right.
Windass. Made that his, but here's Barton. Now Wallace. Kiernan. Halliday. Halliday was looking for Wallace. Stopped by Lustig. Beaton. Dembele, Joe Garner onto it with Barry Mackay ahead. Torre has taken out Garner. Willie Collum was waiting to see if there would be an advantage. He's now going to show a yellow card to Torre.
Again, he's got it right, Willie Collum. I think he tries to let it go to allow Rangers the advantage. He had an extra man. When you make such a cynical challenge, you can't complain about a yellow card to him. release of the ball from the back from both Kiernan and Senderos can be a lot better.
Not sure anyone's giving the ball back yet. Kiernan for Wallace. Mackay by the touchline. Josh Windass is over there too, and Mackay's found Windass. Scott Brown stopped it, reaching Wallace though. There's only one captain getting to that. Rogic wriggling clear of Barton. Movement ahead from Sinclair. Tavernier sorts him out, no foul.
Well, I think you've got to know your teammates. Rogic must know that he's a flying machine, Sinclair. He could have got it in behind a lot earlier, I think.
Garner. Senderos helped on by Tavernier for Barton. Andy Halliday looking for Mackay. Lustig's going to have to do something here, and that's what he does do.
So De Vries might have dominated his box a bit more there.
Barton, Halliday. Wallace. Barton. Windass now for Tavernier. Flicked away by Sviatchenko, but it's Mackay! And it flashes wide. And just for a moment, Rangers thought they were about to equalise.
Well, no surprise to see Tavernier on the overlap, getting a decent ball in. Not the easiest of clearance for Sviatchenko. It's measured, it's controlled from Mackay. He's so unlucky it doesn't drift inside the post. It was certainly the right idea.
Rangers have made a change with Halliday on for Cranchard. Celtic are about to make a change shortly, which will see the arrival of Stuart Armstrong. Barton. Over to Miller, who has Tierney to contend with. Tavernier. Kenny Miller. Sviatchenko in the way.
Brilliant crossfield pass there from Joey Barton.
Tavernier. We hear that Stuart Armstrong will replace Tom Rogic. Armstrong waiting in the wings. Barton. Wallace. Halliday. Forrest sliding in on Mackay, but he still has it. Mackay looking for Miller. Tierney's clearance only to Windass. And he's pulled back Scott Brown. Stuart Armstrong is going to get his first taste of this Glasgow derby. Tom Rogic, who looked the main man for much of the first half, makes way.
Yeah, I thought he was terrific. Thought he was excellent. Thought he was causing Rangers all sorts of problems. Armstrong's a good player, but Rogic, I think, has been terrific. Maybe carrying a knock.
Stuart Armstrong's first action for a month. Senderos for Tavernier. Can Rangers go from 2-0 to 2-2? That would be some story. They did look down and out at 2-0, but not for long, it must be said. Armstrong involved straight away, and it's really opened up for him. Forrest. Foderingham makes the save, and it sticks.
Yeah, it had to stick because Armstrong and Sinclair were in any sort of rebound.
Windass playing well for Rangers. Another good run, albeit stopped this time by Sviatchenko. Armstrong. Lustig. Back to Brown. Awful lot of balloons around Wes Fodringham's goal at the moment, by the way. Just about blown off now. Just keep us surrounded. Kiernan deals with Dembele, but Armstrong following up here. Timely challenge from Kiernan. And goal kick given. What do they call him? Right on the spot.
You had to be right on the money here, Kiernan. Armstrong's got his pace up, trying to get to the byline. The timing of that tackle. That's a corner to me.
Best of kicks from Foderingham for Tavernier, but he dealt with it admirably. Sviatchenko. Brown. Sinclair. Armstrong for Lustig. Forrest available. Armstrong. Armstrong on a mission, but showed too much of that to Kenny Miller back there. A painful collision there.
I think it's just two players who are totally focused on the ball. Garner here, I think his head comes down to try and knock it back. You can see the eyes of Beaton focused on it. He's just leaning into it. It's one of those unfortunate clashes that you get.
Ouch. Garner back on his feet. Beaton might be soon.
Just gives everyone a chance to get a bit of liquid on board.
Brendan Rodgers hoping for victory in his first Old Firm game, something that Mark Warburton did achieve, albeit on penalties in that colossal Cup semi-final last season.
Well, we might see a drop ball here that's contested, will we?
Will be if those two contested. Barton and Brown. Maybe not. This could be interesting. On by Brown, but Rangers have it with Tavernier now. Garner and Beaton both for return. Celtic's lead remains a slender one, even though they dominated the first half. Not only in the right place, but most definitely at the right time. Stumble from Wallace. Forrest is away. Dembele hunting a hat-trick in the middle. Foderingham gathers.
Yeah, that was James Forrest of a couple of years ago. No end product. It's been so different in the opening weeks of the season. Very effective.
Going to
here,
go.
losing his composure.
Garner and Sviatchenko. Willie Collin wants a word with Joe Garner and with Sviatchenko.
Well, Garner's convinced that he was stamped on. That's the motion he's making. Try and draw the referee's attention to it. Sviatchenko was who came in from behind. I think it's a foul. Willie Collin's got it right. Another word in the rear, take the sting out of the whole occasion. And there's the ball into the feet there. I don't think there was anything nasty there at all. Garner just fired up as you would expect most players to be, but just keep a lid on it.
Rangers may well be about to introduce Martin Waghorn, who's just come back from a hamstring injury. We've hit the hour mark at Celtic Park. Brown. Armstrong. Lustig. Kiernan. Made sure he was getting to that. Armstrong for Dembele. Sinclair not far away. Dembele finds Sinclair, who continues his scoring spree. Brendan Rodgers and Celtic are back in the comfort zone on the hour. Come up the hour, come up the man, Scott Sinclair.
Well, you've got to credit Dembele. The easy ball here is to play it left. He's got two options, but Sinclair makes the diagonal run and he's onside. And he finishes it so calmly. There's not a lot of room to aim there. But Dembele took the chance, playing the more difficult pass, and he gets his reward. It's a wonderful setup. And what a fabulous finish for Sinclair, who has started his Celtic career on fire.
Well, Scott Sinclair worked with Brendan Rodgers at Swansea and in Chelsea's youth system. He's scored in every league match for him now since arriving from Aston Villa. Talk about getting your career back on track. He's made an astonishing impact in hoops, and Rangers have it all to do again. Martin Waghorn will be coming on for Rangers shortly, and Patrick Roberts will be coming on for Celtic shortly.
Senderos took Sinclair out here. There was a little clash earlier on and Senderos lost it.
Yellow card for the Swiss defender.
As soon as that ball's in the air, Senderos just wanted to take his opponent out. Look at Senderos here. He's not attacking the ball, he's attacking the man. Stupid play from Senderos, far more experienced to know that that's not the thing to do.
Kenny Miller won't be scoring his 100 Rangers goal here. He nearly did. Joe Garner getting the final touch. Martin Waghorn comes on his return from injury. He's already scored 5 goals in 4 games this season. And James Forrest will make way for the arrival of Patrick Roberts himself, coming back from a hamstring injury. Roberts, who missed an absolute sitter in the Scottish Cup semi-final against Rangers, will be rather keen to make amends. Rangers in need of an epic comeback here. To the air by Lustig. Tierney. It's come off Sinclair. It will be a Rangers throw. Senderos.
Well, they've not got forward with any degree of quality, Rangers, in this half. We're beyond the hour mark. And maybe whack on will make a bit of a difference.
By Dembele on Senderos that time.
Garner's the main focal point of the attack. And you've got Wacon, Halliday and Mackay in behind him.
Kick from Fotheringham for Wallace, although he's under pressure from Roberts. Halliday. Minutes for Rangers to dig themselves out of one big hole. Gave themselves hope at the end of the first half. Need to do so again now. Someone needs to answer the call. Tavernier. Goal kick. Are they complaining? On this huge day of sport, there's a big fight to come. Huge, in fact. It's the world middleweight title, Golovkin against Brook. It all starts from 6 o'clock on Sky Sports Box Office. Meanwhile, back to this heavyweight showdown. It's Dembele, Armstrong. Roberts over there as well. Having to skirt past Windass. Celtic fans happy to turn their backs on the action for now, with a 3-1 lead over their fierce rivals. Celtic Park is bouncing. Roberts. Dembele. Wallace. Stick Mackay. It's a foul by Kiernan on Dembele. It's a poor one, which I'm sure we'll see Roddy Conham take some action here, will it?
May have hurt himself in the process, Kiernan. Still staying down. I think it's a foul. Just coming across. I think a foul will suffice, no need for any yellow cards, but he needs a bit of treatment here, Kiernan. He's getting a yellow.
Well, Kiernan is booked and does need some treatment.
And they also need to go off, which problem for Rangers here in the centre of defence. Celtic not throwing too many men forward in. 2-goal advantage. Just over 20 minutes to go.
Still trying to float this in, but it's far too much on it. First time he's had to his Celtic career. The first time in 6 years he's scored in 4 successive league matches. Fotheringham aiming for Barry Mackay, but that's not worked out either. Not much is for Rangers. Rob Kiernan is going to have to be replaced as well. He's shooting around the touchline at the moment. Joey Barton filling in at centre half. Dembele. No way past Senderos.
I think Dembele was going for his hat-trick there. Ian trying to drift inside, get a shot away.
So Rob Kiernan, as you can see, walking behind the goal there, out of the game. Roberts. Taking the long way round. No foul. Waghorn.
Well, Roberts is a different type of problem for Rangers now. Just the way he twists and turns, and nutmeg there and Tavernier. Barton coming in. Can't see how to foul to me.
Well, Rangers are going to have to replace Rob Kiernan shortly. They're going to do so with Harry Forrester. They have got Clint Hill on the bench, but really they need to find a way back into the game, really. Roberts. Vitor. Armstrong. Roberts. Lustig. Windass. Driving Rangers forward.
He's been their most promising player, I think. Windass, been excellent.
Mackay. Well away from Garner. More disappointment for Rangers. They will bring on Harry Forrester now. Forrester's first Old Firm game. He was injured for the Scottish Cup semi-final last season. Rob Kiernan away. Well, he's capable of a little invention, and that's certainly what Rangers require at the moment. He has played against Celtic before, only the second game of his career actually, on loan at Kilmarnock back in 2010.
Well, I think they've gone to a three at the back here, Rangers. Wallace, Senderos, Tavernier.
Needs must, really. Senderos wins that. Armstrong showing interest here. Showing a lot of interest. Fodingham saves. Sinclair. And the flag was up for offside against Scott Sinclair.
Really good attempt from Armstrong, driving forward. The gap opened up for him. No one getting near him, and when he cuts inside to get that shot away, really good decision from the assistant referee on the far side. Sinclair was offside. There's Armstrong getting a bit of power away. Fodingham with the outstretched hand, makes a good save.
Scott Brown is toiling here. Callum McGregor coming on. Celtic captain appears to be toiling, which is a bit of a worry ahead of Barcelona on Tuesday.
Yeah, of course they still want to concentrate in this game, make sure they got all 3 points, but with Brown picking up an injury, Leigh Griffiths missing Barcelona. Game's coming thick and fast.
Well, they relied so heavily on Leigh Griffiths last season, but haven't needed to quite so much with Sinclair on a scoring spree, and Forrest, and of course Moussa Dembele doing his bit today. Carl Lustig will take the captain's armband. Scott Brown will be hoping he's okay for the new camp.
Well, there's a clash where they came together. He won that one, Scott Brown. He's done well today. I think his team have been dominant.
Scott Brown with a captain's performance, replaced by Callum McGregor. Milking it somewhat. There is Scott. A slow walk off. McGregor on to play a part. And it's still a fair old part. Philippe Senderos with a handball as the challenge, and he's already on one, a yellow card. So Philippe Senderos is sent off, and Rangers derby day goes from bad to worse.
There are times players just leave you bemused. He's already been yellow carded, and a deliberate handball. Does he not realise the pace the ball's going at? I don't know if there was a Celtic player going to get onto it. He had Tavernier on the cover. I know that it's sometimes instinctive, Ian, but that's schoolboy stuff, that.
Well, they've lost both their centre-halves now. Kiernan to injury and Senderos to a red card. Near beat on, fancying a dig here, and he can hit them. He's proved that. Got some movement as well. Beat on, over and out that time. Rangers in disarray now. And Kiernan off injured, and Senderos off for a daft second yard.
It's a clear yellow card, it's deliberate. Tavernier was on the cover. He well have got on the end of it. Dembele, but Tavernier was there. Just such a schoolboy error.
Quarter of an hour still to go as well. And no centre-halves available. Joey Barton playing in between Lee Wallace and James Tavernier at the moment.
Well, it's damage limitation now for Rangers. You haven't been able to get forward with 11 men.
Boosting. McGregor. Sviatchenko. Will Celtic inflict further misery on Rangers here?
Well, they'll dominate the ball till the end of the game, I'm sure. Just wonder whether they've got it in them to get another goal or two.
Armstrong. Roberts. Can get past Barry Mackay.
Well, Mackay's excellent going forward. He's playing like a left back at the moment.
Barry Mackay is staying down. Just can ill afford another injury.
Really good tackle from Mackay, just trying to go on the front foot, trying to get forward.
Now, Willie Collum is coming over to speak to Kevin Clancy here, the fourth official.
Well, Davy Weir was really upset at the lack of a card there. And Willie Collum, I think, has taken action here against Davy Weir.
David Weir, a veteran of these occasions. Well, that's how it gets to you.
Well, you can only assume it was his language. I mean, people are entitled to express a bit of emotion, a bit of dissatisfaction, but we just don't know what the language is. He was certainly in the face there of the fourth official, Kevin Clancy.
David Weir, Rangers assistant manager. Can go see Philippe Senderos in the dressing room. Sinclair now, it's Moussa Dembele, and he is denied a hat-trick for now by Fotheringham.
Sinclair was so unselfish just to set up his partner there. Look at Sinclair here, he could easily pull the trigger, setting up Dembele, tighter angle, good save from Fotheringham.
This place is literally bouncing. Celtic fans relishing Derby Day. Sinclair takes comfy catch for Fotheringham.
You know, normally he wants to deliver it early and get rid of it, Fotheringham, but no one forward for Rangers.
Senderos sent off on his Rangers debut. Rob Kiernan trudging off injured. Desperate day for Rangers. Celtic might not have finished toying with them yet. Warburton and Kilmarnock. Came favourably there to Roberts. Mackay. Free kick for Barry Mackay after the challenge from Patrick Roberts, who reacted not great there and gets a yellow card.
Mackay's actually doing really well for Rangers on that side. He's relieving a bit of pressure, he's trying to carry it forward. Roberts on this occasion, bringing him to a halt, gets a yellow card for his trouble. But Rangers are just keen to hear them. I don't think they're interested in looking at long. I think they realise it's just going to come straight back at them.
Joey Barton, their sweeper at the moment. Windass, who has been bright for them. Forrester given away. Mackay.
Well, he's had nothing to work for. Garner in the second half did so well in his debut to get the goal just before half-time, but he's had absolutely nothing in the second half to work on.
Nobody can really argue with the way it's gone. Sometimes you don't get what you deserve in games like this, but Celtic have been the dominant force. Tierney, Sinclair, Armstrong and Dembele in the middle. Sinclair didn't hang about. Harry Mackay for Halliday. Pinched by McGregor. Armstrong! Flag is up for offside against Stuart Armstrong.
Oh yeah, again, it's careless from Rangers. Once Mackay had played this ball out, there he is playing as a defender. Halliday getting caught in possession, and Roberts knocking it on to Armstrong, and again it's a good call from the assistant. He's offside.
It looks like Celtic will win their first 4 league games in the season for the first time since 2010. Rangers need a goal ASAP to give themselves a glimpse of hope. Halliday. Roberts. McGregor. Lustig. Rangers exposed and struggling to get back here. Dembele! He's done it! Moussa Dembele takes his place in Old Firm hat-trick history. There's only been one team in town today, Celtic.
Well, Rangers have been run ragged, getting caught forward. It's a 2-man defence. It's against 3. Tavernier way forward. Halliday can't get back. Credit the goal scorer. Lustig picks him out. The really good cross. The first touch with his right foot is absolutely beautiful. Just puts it onto his left, and that is a confident, clinical finish. It's a hat-trick for Dembele.
And it's the first hat-trick in an Old Firm League game since Stevie Chalmers in 1966, 50 years ago. He got a yellow card for his celebration. He doesn't look too bothered about that. The last hat-trick in any Old Firm game was from Ali McCoist in the 1984 League Cup final. Moussa Dembele, who wouldn't have started today had Leigh Griffiths been fit, has just made history.
Well, he started his Celtic career. He was stuttering, he was stumbling, looked a bit unconvincing in the early weeks. But wow, what an introduction now.
Will miss the Barcelona game as well, but I think Moussa might be looking forward to it somewhat after a stunning hat-trick here. Wallace. Tavernier. Forrester. Well, it was a perfect hat-trick for Moussa Dembele. A header, left foot, right foot. Mind you, any sort of hat-trick in an Old Firm match would certainly be classed as perfect.
Well, he's over just getting a drink here. But this is his hat-trick. Powerful in the air, good jump, firm header, composure, doesn't pull the trigger with his right, takes on to side foot, puts it in. That one there, terrific first touch, and gets his hat-trick. He has made his mark.
Brendan Rodgers signed Dembele, even though there was interest from Premier League clubs in England. Celtic runaway winners here, and they're beat on feeling the effects. The Rangers fans have seen enough. Some of them are away already. In the end, it did go to form. Celtic have brushed their Glasgow neighbours aside here. Swatted them. There might be more to come. Roberts up against Mackay, who has been working hard to stem the tide. I think that might be a free kick against him, though. It hurts. It doesn't bear thinking about before the game starts, but the realisation has dawned now. And the Rangers fans, I'm not sure that many of them expected too much today, mind you. It's been a rather slow start to life back in the top flight of Scottish football.
Well, Celtic have handled the tag as favourites really well. We wondered whether there was a gulf in class between the teams. Didn't look like it in the semi-final, but it has looked like it today. Celtic have been streaks ahead.
Can now start to think about Barcelona. Says it all that they haven't been able to think about them in the build-up to this big one. Halliday, Forrester chasing, but Kolo Touré will deal with that, and we'll get a free kick as well for a foul by Forrester.
Largely on trouble today, Kolo Touré. Garner and Miller gave him a bit of a contest in the first half, but him and Sviatchenko second half, no trouble whatsoever.
Well, after two fairly drab years under Ronnie Dyler, the Celtic fans are feeling rather good about themselves again and their team. Five titles in a row, and as you can hear, they quite fancy 10. Long way to go yet. Should be a sore one for Rangers to take, but they've been second best by some distance today. Challenging Sinclair, overhead from Halliday. First league hat-trick in this Glasgow derby for 50 years. Moussa Dembele, the star of the show. Celtic pretty much bossed it from the off. The champions have set their stall out. They've beaten all the teams already who are likely to be closest to them as well. Rangers, Aberdeen, Hearts, St Johnstone.
Yeah, a lot of questions asked of this Celtic squad, and they've come up with the goods. certainly domestically, but I think more importantly for the supporters, getting through the Champions League qualifiers to give them some highlight. It's going to be really difficult to compete, but the supporters will really enjoy that journey.
Roberts. Way off target with that as 3 minutes of stoppage time begin. Rangers would dearly love to hear that whistle earlier to end their torment and their torture, but as opening Old Firm matches go, it's not bad for starters for Brendan Rodgers. Plenty to ponder though for Mark Warburton. Plenty.
Well, one of the problems was that he was asked to compete for the title. I don't think Rangers have strengthened in a manner that suggests they could compete with the title.
Day for Rangers. The Celtic fans will be hanging around Celtic Park for a while to make the most of this. Beaten by Rangers in the Scottish Cup semi-final shootout last season. Revenge was in the air from the off, and it has been ruthlessly and clinically taken. Sinclair. Here's Tierney. Is there another one? There might be for Armstrong! Now that is really rubbing it in. Celtic 5, Rangers 1. The champions have blown away their fierce rivals.
Well, it's a fifth goal that emphasises their total and utter dominance of this game. Well played from Tierney. Again, that cut back who picks out Armstrong. Does really well, Armstrong. The easiest thing to do here is take it first time. He takes a lovely first touch and then finds the angle to get it away from Wallace and away from Fotheringham. 5-1, I think, is a fair measure of the difference in the sides today.
One goal in one Old Firm match for Stuart Armstrong. That will do nicely. The perfect end to a perfect day for Celtic Football Club. It doesn't get much better than this. Now is the time to relax properly. Although Brendan Rodgers might have been fairly relaxed for most of the afternoon. There was only going to be one winner. Looking for something in the land of consolation. De Vries, who's had so little to do, does make the save, but that is that. An emphatic and convincing victory for Brendan Rodgers and Celtic. Mark Warburton's Rangers well beaten here. Well beaten. Celtic lived up to their tag of favourites. Moussa Dembele scored a hat-trick, a perfect hat-trick. And to think he might not have played had Leigh Griffiths been fit. The first hat-trick in a league Old Firm game for 50 years. Joe Garner gave Rangers a little bit of hope on the stroke of half-time, but Scott Sinclair had a say, and so did Stuart Armstrong at the end. And this feeling doesn't get much better for the men in hoops. Derby Day belongs to Dembele. He's got the match ball, taking his place in Old Firm hat-trick history.